Hello and welcome to this week's Top 10 Minor Region Power Rankings, where we utilize stats and an algorithm to try and determine who the top 10 minor region teams are in LOL Esports. I don't watch the minor regions play, so this is how to keep up to date and keep you guys up to date on who the top teams are. You may notice that some of them are not ranked in the same way they appeared in the top 25 2 days ago, and that is due to me believing that I have a decent idea of what GAM and PSG look like versus everybody else. So, there are 23 minor region teams left, I believe. Currently, CBLOL's top team, Pain Gaming, are 16th, and Latin America's Rainbow 7 are 20th. Those are the top ranked teams in those regions that are left. Keep in mind, if you do watch the minor regions, comment down below with how you think these teams actually stack up. Keep in mind, I do utilize a hierarchy built off of last year's international success and how they fared against each other. So if you believe that, for instance, I think I had somebody comment on my power ranking video say Sengoku Gaming should be able to compete with the LCS. The LJL is not like super strong against major regions. Yes, they took a game off of EG, but at the same time, we look at the grand scheme of things. If DFM are the first seed and EG are the fourth seed, and DFM do that against EG, then how am I supposed to, analyze the second seed of Japan versus what would be the fourth seed? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's kind of tough to try and make that, distinction. So we utilize stats. In 10th is Team Secret from Vietnam. They're 4-9 and they went 0-3 this past week. They're still technically the 10th strongest team according to stats. They did drop a bit from last week, though. Artifact in mid lane went 14, 21, and 47. So when your mid laner has a negative KD portion of their KDA, good sign that they're struggling. 9th, CTBC Flying Oyster. They had won best of 5 since last Thursday, and that occurred this morning against PSG, losing 3-2. Slaytrue was the star, going 1-11 and 37 at support, so that should give you a good idea of their struggles. He had the best KDA on the team. Keep in mind, these are the players with the best KDA, not any specific reason otherwise to put them on here. 8th, Frank Esports from the PCS are 12-6, and they are 1-0 this past week. They beat somebody in a best of 5, or forget who, maybe it was CFO. Pretender, their mid laner, went 13-5 and 19. They play Impunity tomorrow in a best of 5. That is the only, that's probably the best, probably the best viewing experience you're going to have tomorrow in LOL Esports as far as the top level of play is concerned. 7th, Detonation Focus Me from Japan, 12-2. They did not play last week. They were on a bye week, so they're still 7th. 6th, Team Flash from Vietnam. They're 5-8. They went 2-1 last week, so their record's starting to right itself. Fook 1 in the jungle went 18-9 and 48. He played all but 2 games. They had a substitute jungler today for a couple games, but Fook 1 in what I believe would be 5, 6, 7 games went 18-9, 48. SBTC Esports are in 5th from Vietnam. They're 8-4, went 2-0 last week. DO1 in mid lane went 14-8 and 29. 4th place, PSG Talon, the top-rated PCS team, 15-3, went 2-0 last week, so 2 best of 5 wins against Impunity and CFO. Woody, their support, went 2-21 and 90 for the strongest KDA on the squad. 3rd, GAM Esports from Vietnam. They are 12-0. Went 2-0 last week, but despite this, statistically, they still do not showcase dominant perform. They're not as dominant in their games as a couple other Vietnamese teams, and just somehow find a way to win in the late game. KD in mid lane, 17, 11, and 63, so very supportive mid laner there. 2nd, Cerberus Esports from Vietnam, 7-5, went 0-2 last week. You might wonder, why are they 2nd? They were 1st last week. They dropped 1 statistically. They still grade out pretty well. Yado in mid lane, 14, 11, and 16. And then 1st is Team Wales from Vietnam. They're 8-5 and went 3-0 this past week. BA, their support, 11, 14, 94. BA has appeared on here time and time again. I feel like he's going to have another MVP trophy in his trophy case. A very, very strong player, one of the better supports that you're going to find in the world. I mean, honestly, I think he's world class. I've said this before. We've had a lot of new people to the channel. And when we get to MSI, I think it does bear mentioning. I'm going to mention this a few times over the next month. World class to me does not mean they're one of the best in the role in the world outright. That means that when they go to an international event, they do not look out of place. They do not look like they do not belong. BA is one of those minor region players that shows up and does very well. So something to respect. Katie does as well. And I imagine looking at this, if somehow, some way, a team like Frank got in there, Pretender probably could grade out. Solo Kill is also on Frank Esports. CFO showed up in a big way at Worlds last year. PSG at MSI last year. GAM at Worlds last year. I mean, we've got quite a few players on this list that can show up at an international event and can be competitive. Where, you know, I don't have Latin America highly rated. No offense, LLA, but your record is what it is, right? Internationally, you do struggle. You did take a game off of Japan last year, but that is your, you know, that is the feather in your cap, and that's just not good enough. So if you're a fan of one of the minor regions, comment down below with your opinions. If you like the video, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a supporter, and thank you for watching.